Hey guys, this is James from TeaDB, bringing you InBetweenIsode number 48. So today, I'm just going to get right into the brewing because we are brewing another nice tea that I want to get to a lot of. This is the first tea of the day for me, so I'm still kind of waking up. I've been up for about an hour. This is the Lao Banzhang that's sold by Bana tea from 2012. I gotta say, Bana Tea is probably one of the most consistent vendors that I've ran into. Linda Louie runs their shop, not the cheapest shop, but the amount of hits to misses, and I really haven't run into hardly any misses, is impressive. So, Linda was kind enough to send me the sample, so thank you, Linda. And we're going to just give this one quick rinse, and then we're going to get steeping. So I've had this once before, and I would like to confirm my notes. It was not a particularly difficult tea for me to understand or try to decipher. So I think it's probably, when it comes to making sort of Lao Banzhang claims, I would tend to trust Linda and Louie a lot more than most people who would talk about that. So I do generally trust the pedigree of this tea, and the profile of it certainly fit the sort of bill, what I'm used to, or what I would expect from something that would be called Lao Banzhang. So this actually comes in a 100-gram brick. I think the brick right now sells for something like $195, so not a cheap tea. I do know that you can email Linda Louie and ask her to make you a sample, kind of like the one I have here for 5 grams, and I'm sure that would be prorated to some degree. Alright, steep number 1. So the aroma itself is not anything super intense or anything. This tea is from 2012, so it's not the youngest tea, so maybe some of the aroma has fallen off. It's sweet. There's a bit of citric in it, especially when I smelt the dry leaf. I smelt a little bit of citric in it, a little bit of floral, maybe a little bit of brown sugar. Very, not a fairly generic aroma, I would say. Alright. So this steep, a little bit more green in its aroma, a little bit more vegetal. Alright guys, cheers. So the taste itself is initially bitter and then a touch citric. Body is still a bit medium. I wouldn't say it's light, but I'd expect that to thicken in ensuing steeps. And so probably the biggest asset so far, and I think this is something that'll grow, is throatiness, and then there's a really fast huigan, so I can feel a lot of sweetness lingering in my throat very, very quickly for this tea. We're going to keep this going. One thing I have also noticed about these bricks, and I've actually tried a couple of them now, is that they are highly, highly, highly compressed. And so this helps to sort of keep its aroma in, and its way to sort of like control the humidity as the tea ages or matures. Fairly sort of generic Munghai County floral aroma to it still. Cheers. So the tea is thickened, it's got a nice dense base to it, but again the taste, the initial taste of this tea is definitely not like why you would pay $195 for a 100-gram brick of it. It leaves a really slick feeling going down the throat. There is some very obvious chi to it. This is kind of like one of the teas. I guess this would be like having like a double shot in the morning of coffee or something like that. I am feeling awake, alert. As you could kind of tell, I was a little bit stuffed up when I started this episode. So if you want sort of visual proof of the chi of this tea, I think you're getting it right now. The taste has developed a slight tanginess to it. Yeah. So the taste is not particularly sweet, maybe a little bit. It's mainly bitter still, which I guess is to sort of be expected for a Lao Banzhang tea. At least so says the reputation. So I think this brick in particular has been broken up into samples before. I have like 50 grams, I think, of the Jade Mingqian brick, and that brick is highly, highly compressed. I had to break that up myself, and so you could really tell that the aroma stays within the tea, and it's sort of like the same idea for some of those Shaguan too. So even this tea, just 2 steeps in, I can feel a ton of pungency in my throat, lots of huigan. I'm starting to get thirsty, my cheeks are starting to get flush. These are things that I would expect to get even stronger in the next few steeps as I continue to drink this. Body is still medium. I wouldn't say that it has sort of like that super oily, thick body that you'd expect. The taste is fairly unremarkable, as I've said, but the chi, the energy coming off the tea, is strong and obvious. If you're looking for like some sort of marker of what you would expect the Lao Banzhang territory to be like, I think this is maybe the best one I really ran into. Like just very, very bold, very not a particularly subtle tea. It's very obvious in its characteristics. Cheers. The aroma has actually gotten a little bit nicer. It's more floral, but again, that's not why I would buy this tea. You would buy this tea for the energy and the huigan. It's pretty much the ultimate wake you up in the morning sort of tea if you need something really strong to hit your body in the morning time. You know, I had a viewer, and this may speak more towards the drinker than anything else, that I've been emailing about a lot with about teas, and he had tried this before, so I mentioned I was about to film this episode. And he told me that he had one that's sort of like a very expensive paperweight that he's drank on occasion. And he said that the tea was very, very smoky. And so I'm not actually picking up on a ton of that here. Although I do guess that we would have what Denny would describe as gasoline or petroleum, but I don't really think of that same profile in the same way that he does, or as particularly smoky. And I think maybe part of that could be just the drinker's sensitivity to smoke. I've also been drinking this tea later. It's 2015. He may have had it in 2013 or 2014. And there's also the fact that it was broken up into this little sample baggie. I think Linda sent this to me maybe 2 months ago. And I don't know how long it had been separated from its brick form since then. But I'm not finding this to be particularly smoky at all. I don't think I discerned it even in the earliest steeps, which is when you normally would. So, kind of an interesting observation. So, all kinds of stuff going on in the throats. Cheers. Pretty similar to the previous steeps. Still very pungent, maybe a touch nutty. Touch of nuttiness coming into the tea. But I think that just about wraps it up for the 2012 Lao Banzhang from Bana tea. So big thanks to Linda for sending in this tea. I think it's a great sort of benchmark as sort of like the concept of Lao Banzhang. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Cheers.